Good morning, SBers. Welcome to another episode on the channel of our Home Away from Home. You can see a Cowboys game in there. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it's Sunday football. We're here to go ahead and try to show you our new steel that we've been using. Camera, first of all, this is our channel. This is our, Sasquatch's baby. This is our logo. This is a Vevor 5-gallon steel. As you can see, it's got the copper pipe. Today we're going to put lemongrass in here. So this is a couple strainers. There's a little bit of water at the bottom. We'll steam it, and then as the steam comes up, it goes through this tube, which connects to our coil. It's in ice water. As it's hot steam, when it condenses through the coil, it comes out in the oil form. Actually, it's hydrosol, and then you have to separate the oil after that. But it'll drip in here. We'll catch it in this bottle. We'll put a lid on it, put it in the fridge. This is how you also keep the water circulating, cool. There's a little small pond pump in there. So obviously you have one of these. You'll open both of these and it'll fiddle with it to make sure the flow is correct so you don't lose all the water in here. So cold water will come in from the bottom. Hot water will come up through top, circulate through here, and ice water pick it back up, and so on and so forth. And as long as this is cold, it will take the steam and condense it back down to a liquid, and then you'll get hydrosol. And then after we bottle the hydrosol, you'll put it in some type of contraption like this. We have this thing I bought off on Amazon, and you'll sit here and you'll let it settle. And then after it settles, you'll see a little line of oil at the top. You'll put a little bottle here to catch the oil, and then you'll turn this and separate it from the hydrosol. Obviously, again, I need help on my language. The hydrosol, you'll separate it from that and the oil that sits on the top. So it's quite a process, but I think it's lucrative, hopefully, and it's one of the things that we're going to be trying to do on our homestead. We're going to grow lavender, mint, maybe lemongrass if it works out. I've been looking into frankincense because that's been a really good thing. Obviously, they say that's because it's one of the two, frankincense and myrrh, because it's in the Bible. That is one of the great healing spices there is. So obviously, I don't know if we can grow it very well out in Arizona desert, but we'll try and see. We're gonna go on a journey, and hopefully you follow us, and hopefully we get tips from you as well so that we can do it better. And, maybe there's a way to sell on Etsy or whatever, you know what I mean? So please don't be afraid to comment. We'll look forward to it. So we're going to get it started. I just wanted to give you a quick peek, and then we'll cut into another where we're actually putting lemongrass in there, and you can kind of see that. And then we'll show the process of the distillate. Man, I cannot speak. Well, the steam into condensation. So, all right, stay tuned. Well, hopefully you can see now we're going to be doing lemongrass, and I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to cut it, and then I'll take it and pop it in there and see how it's going. All right, so here's a stalk of lemon. Obviously I don't have a lot of room here, so bear with me. Oh, let's close that door. So I'm just going to cut it and put it in there. Nothing special. We put a little colander in there so that it'll, by cutting it, it erases the aroma. So we're going to put the stock, everything in there. So we got this from a neighbor. Well, someone off of Facebook. We wanted to try this because, it's very, very smelly. It smells really well. And we wanted to use it so that we can flavor teas or use it in some type of, healthcare. It's really good for your sinuses and whatnot. So we're still discovering all the benefits of, essential oils. We use a lot of lavender, for headaches and soothing and stress relief and whatnot. So, we're just trying to get into it and enjoy, life, and trying to get away from the normal, 9 to 5 work, and, it really, whoa, sorry about that. It really brings to light, you know, when you lose a loved one, how much time we spend away from family. And that was the whole point of this channel, and the whole point of me buying land out in Arizona was to get my family out there and try to make a compound. And, you know, my son and his little family, they have small children, so, you know, obviously they're probably not going to be out there right off the bat, as, you know, they want to travel and they want to see the world, and you don't want to take that away from them, because homesteading is not a, you know, lucrative. You don't get into homesteading to make, you know, $1 million or whatnot. So, you know, the idea here of making some money is just to get by and, you know, pay the bills. And luckily, you know, I was able to pay cash for all that land, and, you know, we got a trailer, and I dug a well and all that. So, you know, we're going to be remotely debt free, which is ideal. So, you know, but with, you know, the kids are going to need clothes, and they're going to need, you know, books and cars and, you know, stuff. And you don't want to rob them of that by living off grid and, you know, whatever. But there are so many other benefits of living off grid. We're going to have animals. We're going to have, you know, we're going to be making our own, like, lavender soaps and candles and whatnot. So there's a lot of valuable things to learn there. But, you know, with a small community like where we live, there's not, you know, the more, I would say, a more older community. So, you know, there's some limitations to the education and whatnot. So, you know, you don't want to pigeonhole them, and the kids I'm talking about, and not allow them to, you know, explore the horizons and whatnot. So we're just trying to set it up, and, you know, my goal is to put it in a trust, and at one point when my son and his family, if they want to do that, it'll be there, and hopefully I can fund it so that they don't have to worry about the property taxes and the HOAs or POAs, whatever you want to call it. And that, you know, if, you know, that's not something they want to do in the future, then they can sell it and hopefully live a better life. You know, that's what you want for your children. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out for them. So, all right, I'll stay tuned. All right, man, it smells amazing in here. I can't even tell you. Amazing. There's two kind of lemongrasses. There might even be more, but this is what it looks like. Just chopped it up. Almost looks like chives, but it's lemongrass, I promise. Yeah, so we got some lemongrass to keep away some of the mosquitoes from a nursery, and it's more of a, I don't know, I guess you would say more of a water grass, not so thick. I don't know if you guys can see that stalk on there. This is incredible thick, you know, almost like a green onion. The stuff that we have is very pious, or again, I'm trying to say a word I probably shouldn't be trying to say, but like a grass that you would see in a pond or something like that. It smells like lemon, but nothing like this. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this. Obviously, we just have a burner. I'm going to turn the burner on. I'm going to put the lid on. When it gets up to about 200, it starts to create steam. And you want to constantly around the 200, 220. You don't want to burn it. So they say be careful about what's going on. This, so that obviously we capture what's going on. Because you want to be able to capture the oil, but you don't want it to spill. Might help if I show you what's going on. So we'll do that. We'll turn the pond filter on. We'll go ahead and do that. Again, if you want a sweater like this, let me know and I can get you guys one. We're just starting to get merchandise. You know, I like this logo. Some people are saying it looks like Labubu, if you know what that is. But I think it's a cute little Sasquatch's baby. But who knows? We might do another of that. I don't know if the bucket now is pretty much empty. We're going to keep that, brew some tea also, and see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and then once it's going and starts dripping out, I will do another video and let you see how it goes. Stay tuned. All right, as you can see, it's heating up. I'm getting up to temperature here. So the smaller burner takes a little while. Dialing in the input and output of the water. I have it just above that inlet, or I guess that would be the exit. Inlet's down there at the bottom. So as you can see, it's got a little swirl, so it's doing really well. Here's the rest of everything. The little pond pumps in there going. So, and obviously you can't see it, so that was not good. But soon you'll see it coming out here, and then we'll get back to you. I'm going to put you on pause and come back. Alright, so we have reached almost the magic number here. And as you can see, it's starting to spit out the hydrosol. There you go. Again, don't blame me for my English, even though it is my first language. So I'm going to move this a little bit so you can mess with that so you don't miss any drops. So again, you'll have to constantly play with this particular thing because ice melts, you get a little more water, this starts to heat up quite a bit. And again, you want to watch your temperature because you don't want to go too high, you don't want to scorch it. But there you go, this is kind of the output of it. As you can see, it's giving off some heat. Those coils are extremely hot, so just be careful. And again, if you don't have this system, this is actually really ideal. This melts it, keeps it cold, puts it in there. So alright, so I'll show you the end product again. So we're right about just a little over 200, and you're starting to get a good constant flow. So, and then you'll see, I'll show you a little layer. You can almost see the little layer of oil already starting to form on there. So most of it will be the hydrosol, and then you'll take that when it fills up, and then you'll put it in here and let it settle, and then you just feather this. Open and close, and then you go all the way, and then you finally get to where it's only the little oil here, then you put your little thing in there. It's very laborsome, and it does take quite a bit of product to get a lot of oil, but you know, that's kind of the name of the game, is just getting it done. So alright, I'm going to watch this, and then at the end I'll show you kind of where we're at. Alright, cool. Getting a little hot, so we'll turn it down a little bit. Alright, here's a little bit better picture about halfway through. You can see a thin layer of essential oil right on top. That's all hydrosol. It's interesting that it takes that much product just to get that little bit, and so that's why you have to take it into something like this and strain it to get to the very minute detail. Then you're able to put that into your bottle.